Hello everyone, Jonathan Rayo here with Simplified Guitar, and in this lesson I'm going to be going over the song The Goodness of God by Bethel Music. This is a great easy song for beginners that only uses 4 chords and a nice easy strum pattern. If you want to find out more about the chords and strum pattern I'm using for this song, you can check out my free 3-step guide by clicking up there in the corner. In the 3-step guide I teach you the 18 chords and 3 strum patterns that I recommend all beginners start with because it's a great foundation. It's going to unlock hundreds of songs for you to play, and there are no bar chords to get started with, so it's a great place to get started if you're an absolute beginner. Alright, so enough chat. I'm going to go ahead and play the song for you now, and then afterwards I'll break it down and explain it in more detail.
I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up till I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkest night. You are close like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend. I have lived in the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me.
Alright, so this song is played using the G chord family, but we're going to have our capo on the 1st fret. So we're actually in the key of G sharp, but we're using the G chord family chords. Now we're only using 4 chords for this whole song, even though it might look like I'm playing different chords, especially on that bridge, but I'm going to explain that to you in just a second. The only chords we're using is the G chord, the C add 9 chord, the E minor chord, and the D over F sharp chord. What's nice about these 4 chords is that they have a very similar shape to each other. Actually, the 3rd and 4th finger never move for all 4 of these chords. So it makes transitions a little bit easier because we're not completely changing the position of our hands. Now, when we get to the bridge, I did something a little bit different for the G chord. It doesn't change anything in terms of the position of our hands. But what it does is it gives us a unique sound. One of the chords in the bridge is G over B. And what that means is it's called a slash chord. And what that means is that the B, it needs to be the dominant note in the chord. Because usually when you're playing a chord, the root note is the title of the chord. So if it's a G chord, the G note is going to be the root note, which means it's the lowest register, it's the deepest note. And with a G chord, that's this note right here. Our second finger on the 3rd fret of the low E string, that's our G note. But for G over B, we want the B note to be our lowest register, our main note for that chord. And the B note in this chord is actually your first finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, okay? So what we want to do for G over B is just let our second finger go, and I'm going to mute the E string with my thumb so that it doesn't resonate, and I'm not going to play that E string at all. I'm just going to start on the A string, which is my B note, okay? And then I'm just going to strum the rest of the chords, the rest of the strings. And so that would be G over B. And what's really nice about that, the progression of the bridge, we have the G over B, and then it goes to C, which again is like this. This is our C add 9, okay? So if we really accent that B note on the G over B, then we walk up to the C, right? Okay, so that sounds really nice when we can create a walk like that from G over B to C, okay? And then from there we go to D over F sharp, and then to G. And what I'm doing for that G, because the next note is actually G over B, what I want to do is I don't want to hear the B for that G, because my next note is G over B. So I want to save that B sound for the G over B. So what I'm doing when I hit the G is I'm letting go of my first finger, and I'm letting my second finger lay across the A string and mute it, okay? So I'm not going to hear that B note at all, okay? So actually the only strings that are resonating is the E string and then the D, G, B, A, E string, okay? So only 5 strings are resonating, like that. Okay, that way when I transition to G over B, that B is very clear. It's very clear that I'm changing from G to B, right? Okay, so again, if I were to play that slowly, that progression. Okay, so what I'm doing there is I'm really making sure that the listener can hear that progression from B, C, the F sharp and the D over F sharp, that's another slash chord, to the G note, okay? So I'm making sure that they can hear that. And when you're playing the acoustic guitar by itself, it's always good to do that when you can, because you don't have a bass player who can really accentuate those root notes, right? Those main notes that need to be heard. So when you're playing the acoustic guitar by yourself, whenever you can do that, it's always great. It really sounds very nice. The strum pattern for this song is very basic. It's the driving pattern, which is a 4-beat strum pattern. We have 4 beats and then it repeats. So we're going to have 4 down strums in a row with an up strum after beat 4, and then it's going to repeat again. So basically we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and like that, okay? Now we want to add emphasis on every other beat. So on beat 1 and 3, we're going to strum harder, and on beats 2 and 4, we're going to strum softer. And for 2 and 4, we'll probably only strum maybe 2 or 3 strings. How many strings you strum is not that important. It's just the important thing is to create that difference in dynamics, in intensity, so that we can create those dynamics. So again, if I were to just hold my G and play that strum pattern slowly, it would sound like this. 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. All right, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you can be notified when I come out with new lessons. And if you are interested in the free 3-step guide, don't forget you can click up there to download that. And I hope to see you in the next lesson. Take care.